You guys, you don't even get a g'day fellas today. No. How about I give you like a hey guys? That's where it's gonna pretty much start, because from there on it just goes downhill. If you don't like salty drongo, you're not gonna enjoy this video, so click off right now because it's not going to be a fun one. We've got a lot of topics to cover. First and foremost is going to be the brand new Age of Empires live stream, which, to be honest, doesn't really have much to talk about, so I'm sure you can already guess where we're going to go with that one. Number two, I'm going to tell you a little bit about my personal life, about where I've been. It's been a couple of days that I haven't posted. I'm sure you've been wondering why. What's going on with Drongo? Is there something big that's happened? I'll tell you there's something big. And then number three, we're going to talk about the state of Age of Empires. We're going to talk about how we're feeling about things and about some truths that I think all of us as Age of Empires fans need to or Age of Empires 4 fans need to be aware of. And then also we'll be doing a little bit of brief commentary here about the game. This is a game that I played a little bit earlier in the day up against my boy Divine DFP. I'm under the alias Kim from the Venga Boys, so nobody would know who it is. Of course they're gonna know it's you, Drongo. You love the Venga Boys. That's true. Probably the best Dutch import. If I had to rank Dutch, did I say import? I meant exports. If I have to rank Dutch exports, I'd be like number 1, Don Hardy. Number 2, the Venga Boys. Number 3, those little cookies that they got with the honey on them? Grubby gave me some when I went to Germany once. They were amazing, so that's definitely on the ladder, on the rankings. But anyway, that's what we're going to be doing. We'll talk a little bit about the game as we get onto it, because this is going to be a good game. I think you guys are going to like this game. Anyway, all right, so let's start off with the Age of Empires live stream that happened recently, like a couple of days ago. I got heaps of messages from people just like, hey, where's the video? We're waiting for the video. And to be honest, I don't think it needed a video. I don't think it needed a video, man. That could have been an email. I would have been happy with an email for that video. I don't know how they turned it into a live stream that was that long. I'll give you guys the rundown. Here's the rundown. Age of Empires 2, congratulations. You got some new scenarios to play. Age of Empires 3, congratulations. A couple new civs. Age of Empires 4, congratulations. You got a new profile picture. Oh, new profile picture. How good is that? Age of Empires Mobile, congratulations. You've copied a game from a mobile game that came out like 10 years ago. Wonderful. And Age of Empires, Age of Mythology, to be honest, actually got like, that didn't need to be an email. That just needed to be a Steam link, but that was perfectly fine. We didn't need to see the rest of it. But anyway, there was also a little bit of Walla Lol in there that you might have noticed. Now, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of the 1-2. Typically, whenever you're organizing a tournament, one of the things that you do before you announce that tournament is like you typically want to confirm your talent, right? Like, so say as an example, I want to host a tournament, and for the grand finals, I might want like Killer Pigeon to cast it alongside me with Lidocor. I might reach out to them even before I announce the tournament, like, hey, I want to make sure I got you guys for the grand finals. Like, you're going to be in. Just FYI, nobody's reached out to me for any big events in the future, okay? So when it comes to the prospects of AoE 4 being in Wallalol, I want to make sure that you guys are managing your expectations. It's not looking good. I'll say that much, okay? On top of that, I know that, there were Age of Empires 2 players who had direct inside knowledge. We saw some of them announcing at the same time that the Wallalol was announced. On Twitter, we saw multiple images posted. It just makes me think, look, probably this Wallalol and maybe the next one and the next one after, you're not going to see AoE 4 there, and that's okay. But just manage your expectations. Now, have a look what I'm doing here. Have a look at this. We said we'd talk a little bit about the game. What's Drongo doing? I got a lot of villagers on gold, don't I? Have a look at this. What is going on, Drongo? Why you got 5 villagers? Why are you moving your Imperial official to the gold, Drongo? Why you got so many villagers? Why is he scouting your gold, Drongo? What does he think you're up to? He doesn't know what you're up to, and that's the great thing about this strategy. They never know what you're up to until, bam, you hit them with it. All right, so now what are we going to do? We're going to do the craziest thing. We're going to get all the upgrades. How sick is that? We're getting all the upgrades. Because we're playing the Chinese, we get our money back. Remember that. And because we've got the Imperial Academy, it gives us like the double the money, the rebate. So that's what we're doing at the moment. And of course, we're taking advantage of that new, cheaper Imperial official from the Imperial Academy. All right, anyway. So that's basically, when it comes to that stream, I really don't think that there's too much to react to. Like, for Age of Empires 4, obviously they mentioned like, we just came off a best-selling expansion pack. Like, to be fair, we just had that expansion pack. So I'm not asking for more, right? Like when it comes to that, that's perfectly fine. But one of the things like I would have loved to have seen at the very least, a roadmap. Can I just get like a little bit of a roadmap? Like, oh yeah, roadmap. Like, and it just needs to be bare bones, bro. Like, just be like, oh, season 10 starting season 10. What, I don't know. I didn't even know what season we're up to. Season 7 coming up on the 10th of June. It's gonna be wonderful. We're gonna have 6 new maps. We're gonna have 14 new all right, whatever you want. Heaps of balance patches. Just something that I can look at and be like, oh, okay. At least it's not nothing. Okay, and I'm sure that the devs or the publishers or whoever came up with this was like, yeah, well, look, it's technically not nothing. They get a profile picture. It's like, yeah, it's a profile picture. Bro, I don't care. It's a profile picture. Give me something. Come on, man. Anyway, so we're throwing down the outpost on the front line. Outpost is important. This is going to stop the longbows from coming in. We need to collect the gold. Why do we need to collect the gold? Anybody in the class know why we need to collect gold as the Chinese? Correct, John. It is because we're going to the castle age. We're going to be doing some fancy things. And look at all these upgrades we're getting. We're getting our imperial examinations technology. We're getting all of our upgrades. Look at this. We're even upgrading our outpost. That is crazy, Drongo. You got so many things. And I messed that up right there. You can see. Yeah. Collected my tax a little bit too early. That's okay. All right, so that's the first point. Second point, personal life. Drongo, where you been? It's been so long. Good question. It's actually been a really long time since I've recorded a video. So I often record all my videos like ahead of time by a mile. I ran out of videos and I was planning to begin creating more videos from the live stream. And I was really hoping there was something that I could talk about there. But literally like hours before the live stream, my youngest, he had to go into hospital. We took him into the emergency department because his brother had caught gastro from daycare, which is always fun. Thank you, daycare. You want to know the best part? Like, we're just getting over the gastro, and he's coughing, and now he's got a runny nose. It's like, it just never stops, man. It doesn't stop. Just make it stop, please. It never stops. Anyway, so we went into emergency. He needed to be monitored for 24 hours. They needed to monitor him. And mainly the reason why is because he's only 4 months old. And basically whenever we'd give him his milk, he'd just spit it all back up. And that way he can, basically he can get very quickly dehydrated if you're not careful. And as a result, obviously we just want to be on the safe side. And so we went and did that. But he's all good. We're all good. I mean, with the exception of, all the terrible things that have gone on in this household over the last couple of days. We're all good. Have a look at this. Nice little timing. I was going to go for a little outpost there on the front side. But decided against it. I said, you know what? I don't even need that outpost because I'm going to be castle age very, very quickly here. Not a bad little timing. Should be up a little bit after 8 minutes as long as I don't get interrupted. Hint, hint. Yeah, I should be fine here. I got a nice little bonus of 3 imperial officials. This is really good. I do like this change with the imperial officials. It allows you to get those imperial officials out slightly earlier, which just helps with the gold collection. You can see, like, right now our gold economy is absolutely ludicrous. Anyway, at this stage of the game, we're looking pretty good. We're up against Divine. So far, what I've scouted from him is he's got 3 on gold, which basically means he wants to play feudal, right? Like that's pretty much it. When you scout 3 on gold, that's 3. That's a feudal play. No vills on stone, so we know what we're up against. So I'm just like, all right, well, we'll go castle age. We'll make some knights, and if we see spearmen, we'll drop an archery range. We'll make some archers. Pretty simple stuff. So we're just going to supervise a whole bunch of our knights out, and it's nice and easy from here. And then we're going to look to try and catch relics, pick up as many relics as we can. Ideally, we want all 5 relics, and because then we can throw them into pagodas later. And then other than that, it's good being castle age. What can I say? It's especially good as the Chinese to be castle age in this matchup, just because the lancers do so well against the longbows. Now, I don't know whether... I'm pretty sure he might scout my lancers or something like that, because I did notice that he didn't keep all of his longbows inside the battering ram anymore, and I was a bit sad by that, because it's always nice to catch the longbows unawares. You don't ever want to let them get away. And one of the other things to note is whenever you go for a castle age rush like this and you're under pressure, you don't ever want to throw down your what's it called, the religious building. You don't ever want to throw that down immediately. You want to just defend first and then look to go castle once you are satisfied that you have defended. Cool. So anyway, that's the personal life update. That's the update on where we've been with regard to that live stream that happened. Let's talk a little bit about the direction of Age of Empires 4 and about what we can expect in the future. Now, obviously, we've come off a really, really good expansion. That's sold very well. And it's going to take some time for that to actually not necessarily go up the chain, but you got to appreciate with big companies like this, it's not going to be overnight that they're just like, oh man, to the deck, and all of a sudden, you know, like they're just going to be pumping out new content for Age of Empires 4. It's a bit more reactive than that. So I think one of the important parts to remember in this discussion is that there is going to be oh, let me clear my throat. Excuse me. Oh, by the way, did I mention I got Ben & Jerry's? Yeah, I got Ben & Jerry's, so let me take a little bit of that as well. But there's going to be a lag time between the success of the expansion and then the fruits of that. That is good. Do you want to know what flavor? That is the best flavor there is. And I don't care what the haters say. The Tonight Dough. Oh my lord, how good is that flavor? Excuse me. Oh my gosh, that is so damn good. So anyway, that's the first point. That's the first like caveat that I'll throw out here, because I definitely think, you know, within I would say November or this year, so in 9 months, there will be another expansion pack. I suspect that there will be variant civilizations for the English. There'll be a variant civilization for the Mongols, for the Delhi Sultanate, and for the last civilization that we always forget about because we don't like them, the Rus. So there'll be variants for those 4 civilizations, and I suspect you'll probably have 2 more civilizations added in, maybe like Portugal and Spain, or Korea and Spain, or you know, with the way the devs have been adding civs recently, it'll be like the United States and New Zealand. It'll be something like that you just don't expect. But I guess the point is, I would say that, like, okay, that's going to happen, right? Just put that out there. But what do we get in the meantime? There's not going to be any new huge content drops. But obviously, I guess one of the things I haven't talked about or spoken about yet is the fact that we are going to be getting a free-for-all ladder. To me, this is a really, really exciting thing. Now, it's going to be quick play, so you can basically queue up into free-for-all and play that, which is amazing, right? When you think about it. Now, from what I know, and I don't know everything about this, and what I've heard may not be true, but it's going to be Nomad. It's going to be free for all. It's going to have it's going to be quick play, which means it won't be ranked, but it will still technically have a ladder for it because it's quick play. So even quick play has a ladder. So technically, you know, we can definitely still be ranked and be competitive with it. So that's a really, really that's a cool thing. I love that to pieces. I'm super duper excited about that. So yeah, Nomad, and I also think there might be a couple of Outback Octagon themed things. I guess what's the easiest way to say this? Mechanics, maybe. So keep your kings out for that. I mean, keep your eyes out for that, because that, you know, Regicide could be very fun in that game mode. We'll say that much. But yeah, official Outback Octagon would be nice, wouldn't it? But look, hopefully we don't have to dream for too much longer. Anyway, the next big thing that I sort of want to talk about is the direction of caster mode. And I'm actually going to be issuing a call to action, or not a call to action, but it's a hiring request, right? I'm calling out to anybody who's got experience with hacking or developing to reach out to me. Leave a comment down below. So basically, caster mode as we know it. So that's like, you know, the mode that if you go and watch like 99% of my videos, that's the mode that you're gonna see. The resources at the top of the screen, and you know, we can see the whole battle going on, that sort of good stuff, right? That's essentially on life support at this stage. I haven't heard from the devs in a long time regarding that. Okay, now obviously I can't go into too much detail about that because I've got an NDA and whatnot, but I can be broad with it, or I can be, I think that's probably the best way to say it, broad with it, is as far as I'm aware, it's on life support. I haven't heard an absolute thing out of them for months. And when I say months, I'm talking like, you know, 6+ months. It's been a long, long time. So that means that things like bugs aren't going to be getting fixed, but not only that, new features aren't going to be added. And there's so much that still needs to be added to this. And like, for me, I'm not even kidding you. I've made a list of things that need to be added. It's that extensive. But let's talk a little bit about this game. Where are we at the moment? Drongo, your macro is terrible. I know it's not the best, but we're working with it, all right? We had a little bit too much food. It's hard to always account for the Imperial officials. I thought the relics would be in faster, but the defense was a little bit hard. all of this stuff's going on. So what are we doing? We're throwing down a second TC. We want to make sure that we're going to be able to scale if he goes Castle Age, and we're going to look to push him off that gold. That's what we really want to try and do. We already tried to do that with the Nest of Bees, as you guys would have seen. Didn't go that well, but now we got the archers pushing in, and I'm starting to feel good. We've got a lot of food banked up here. Drongo, what's the deal? Have a look at the Imperial officials as well on those archery ranges, just pumping out units non-stop. That's going to be our 4th relic, and that's going to be our 5th relic. So we managed to take all 5 relics, which is always really nice. If you can do that, especially against the English, it just helps you out against that little bit of gold income that they've got. And there it is. We spot it, but it's too late. Just before 15 minutes, he gets that age up in. And that basically means we're in a bit of a difficult spot. Except, hold on a minute, I realized something. Have a look at this. All of his landmarks are right next to each other. What if we just hit him with the good old-fashioned... you know what it is. Anyway, we'll leave that one for a little bit later. Let's keep on talking. So, like, just some of the basic stuff, like basic bugs that need to be fixed and have needed to be fixed for more than a year, right? There's no way to see Rus bounty when you're watching a casted game. Like, there's no, you can't see it unless you go back to the old mode. You can't actually see it. So you have to, like, it's a whole thing, and not to mention how buggy that is. But you can't see Rus bounty. You can't see Ottoman Vizier's system or points. The Japanese blacksmith upgrades don't show on the UI. The Japanese wheelbarrow doesn't show on the UI. You can't actually see the Ayyubids aging up. Like, how many Ayyubid games have we missed their age up just because we couldn't see their age up on the UI? Like, this is literal, like, bare basic bug fixing, and it's been 4 months since the Ayyubids came out, and we still don't have that one bug, like, fixed in. This is, like, you've got, like, tens of $1,000s going on in tournaments right now, and it's, like, one of the, you'd think that'd be just simple. You turn a 0 to a 1, and it's fixed. But no, apparently it's not. Or at least there's nobody to turn that 0 into a 1. Chinese, Zhuxi, whenever they put a relic inside a pagoda, it doesn't show on the UI. Whenever you're watching Joan of Arc, you can't actually track her XP, which is kind of important, right? Like, you want to see how long has she got until she's reached level 3. Oh, there it is. She's coming in right now. You know, that sort of thing. You don't get to see that. And that sucks, man. I don't like that. That's painful because it's so simple, right? At least in my mind, it's so simple, right? Surely it would take one guy who knows how to code 30 seconds to just run in and there you go. I just turned the 0 to a 1, Drongo. And that's all it took. All right, here we go. Nice little castle drop coming down on the front. Lord Dowd not smiling upon us today. Take a look at this. We've got plenty of villagers on the front line continuing to pump out all of these units towards that front. Now, in the meantime, have a look at this. Veteran Spears has come through for Divine DFP. He's looking to try and take out the villagers one by one. Got the crossbows working on him slowly. A little bit of a block with the knights in up next against the keep. He's trying his hardest to get through it. Archers teeing off. It looks like the keep is gonna get up, but Lord Doubt smiles, and Lord Doubt, he is smiling hard. Unfortunately for Drongo today, he's gonna have to call more villagers in, and that is really gonna slow down this push because now all of a sudden it's gonna mean he loses more units. It's going to mean that that siege push that was happening is just not going to be happening the way that it was. But fortunately, there's no real way for him to deal with the keep at the moment. So we're gonna throw that little bad boy one hammer and poof, we're gonna sneeze in the direction. There you go. Hopefully, I didn't just get DMCA'd for that onomatopoeia. I don't know if you heard it. If you didn't, go rewind it. There was an onomatopoeia in there, okay, that I used, and I'm not kidding you. I wouldn't be surprised if they not DMCA, but like they strike me and they say like, you have used a slur. It's like, bro, oh my God. Like, I'm not even kidding you. It literally happened before. Google the sound that metal makes when it strikes metal. Okay. It's not the word clink. It is a word that rhymes with that. And it's also a slur for Chinese people. And I used that word as an onomatopoeia as I was describing that sound because I heard, you can actually hear it through the fog of war, that sound. Whenever somebody begins gathering at a gold mine, you can hear that sound. And in the video, I said, I heard it. I heard the onomatopoeia of the gold mine. And they immediately, like, they flagged the video. They're like, that right there, that is a slur and that will not be accepted on YouTube. Anyway, I wouldn't be surprised if I just got done for that that onomatopoeia as well. Dude, the onomatopoeias just get me every single time. I gotta stop using onomatopoeias. I gotta start using words more. less bang and more boom, just like the Venga boys. I got to learn more from the Venga boys. Anyway, we have got the first of the trebuchets starting to shell our keep down. So what do? We just take 3 villages and we're just going to start repairing the keep. That way we're minimizing the cost of the stone that we're actually having to repair. That way we don't save it all to the last minute and then it costs us even more stone to repair it up. So that's what we're going to do. So just to try and mitigate, we'll just pull 3 vills for every trebuchet that we see. Okay, so those are just like some basic Civ-specific things that are just like blatantly missing. Other things that would be really nice to see fixed in caster mode would just be things like whenever you change the perspective of a player, it resets their fog of war discoveries. So basically what that means is like if I'm watching from, you know, Kim from the Venga boys and then I go watch Divine's perspective and then I go back to Kim, anything that Kim has seen, by the way, I'm Kim. That's who I'm role-playing as today, Kim from the Venga boys. I'm pretty sure she was like the main vocalist, which is why that's me, because I'm the main vocalist on the Drongo channel. But this is unhinged. I mean, you knew it was unhinged coming into this. I'll be honest, I'm not that angry. Like this is a pretty tame Drongo, like what you guys have gotten so far. We'll probably get worse. Anyway, so when you go and look at that new perspective, all of the things have gone. Like literally everything. The trees, the gold veins, the gold veins have gone, and the gold vines. The gold mines have gone, but all the buildings have gone as well. And it's like, it's just really annoying because now all of a sudden I don't know what that player knows. And that really sucks because you got to remember at the end of the day, like if you're here watching this video right now, this affects you because your content, the content that you watch, whether you like it or not, is story driven. It's something that I always try and do. Something I always try and build is a story. I try and take a perspective from a player and I normally try and pose a question and then try and build upon that question throughout the game. And that can be difficult because often you don't know where that question is going to take you. You don't even know if that question is going to get answered. But essentially what you're looking to do is tell that story. And it's very hard to tell a story when all of a sudden half of the pages in your book just get torn out and all of you're like, does he know about the stable? I don't know. Does he know about the stable? Maybe he does. His scouts in the area probably does, but we can't confirm. It sucks. It really sucks. And this has been in since the very beginning of the game. It affects caster mode. It affects the normal replays. I don't think this one's going to get fixed. I reckon we'll still be playing Age of Empires 4 in like 2036 and this bug's still going to exist. And I'll be talking about this video. I'll be referencing it. Anyway. So that's the first thing. Second thing, it's a basic one. Army value, it doesn't calculate correctly. And it sucks because when you kill an archer, it shows that there's been 30 value that was destroyed. When you kill a spearman, it shows that there was 60 value destroyed. And it's like, well, hold on a minute. An archer's not 30 and a spearman's not 60. And it does this for a whole bunch of units. Basically, it just leaves off one of the resources. It does this for both the destroyed value and for the army value, which really messes things up because now all of a sudden you've got the same army value and it's like, but you don't. We know that. So that's another thing. Let's talk a little bit about this game because it's starting to reach a good point. As you can see, the trebuchet is starting to roll in and looking to work down the next landmarks. Look how many nest of bees we've got. Yeah, it's a nice amount of nest of bees, isn't it? That's always, you know, I'm role-playing as Kim from the Venga boys, but I'm also role-playing as Jason Statham. So you got to watch out here because the beehive has been shaken. Don't shake the snake. Don't shake the hive. Don't thrive the hive. Don't dive the hive. And that's what's going to happen. Drongo now looking to dive the hive. The only reason I'm looking to dive the hive is my keep is going down and I need to keep my keep alive, so I have to force his trebuchets back. So that's what I'm looking to do right now, and you can see he's going to pick up those trebs, so I should immediately look to move back here. I don't do that. Instead, I'm going to blow absolutely everything, all the bees just unleashing upon my opponent. We're looking to focus down all of these springalds. You can see we've got the lancers working towards him. He's got plenty of them. We've managed to keep everything alive, and we're still working down that last landmark. Take a look at that. We got 3 landmarks. 2 of them are down. Third one is under pressure. I think there's 3 or 4 trebs up there working it down. It's a slow and steady battle, but we're making it. And look at all the resources I've got in the bank. It's so painful when you got all this money and you can't hold it. I'm thinking of the limes meme. You guys remember the limes meme? That's where we're at. So right now I'm like, okay, I need to keep this keep alive. That's what I need. That's all I need to do. So I immediately just throw people on stone, but that's actually the wrong move because if I throw people on stone, I'm not going to have my stone in time. In fact, I don't even know if it would have mattered here. Let's watch and see. I think that, yeah, that keep is about to die. Even if these vills get there in time, I think the keep is about to die right there. Yeah, it went. Okay, never mind. So I'm throwing down a market right now to be like, yo, let me throw down my market. And then I came back. Okay, yeah, keep's dead. So I needed to keep that keep alive. Just mainly because then it means that my trebs can't die to anything. You know, like the keep is just able to kill the men-at-arms. But because there's now men-at-arms, it makes it really, really harder. And here I am just like, final ditch attempt. You know, we've taken out the 2 landmarks. Let's get the last one. It's not long to go, boys. We can do it. Meanwhile, he's like full health and, you know, full English defense. Everything is online. I think we've done a good job to keep him down. I think even at this point, I was like thinking about tapping out. And I'm like, you know what? Like, this has been pretty decent so far. I'm kind of happy with this. But yeah, so we got Song Dynasty. I mean, it's kind of useless, kind of pointless at this point. But we got the Song Dynasty, which is nice. So we've been on 2 TC for a while. 2 TCs is always good. It's always good to have 2 TCs. But we don't have a good farm transition. We've really neglected our farm transition. So as the Chinese and Juicy, we always want to transition 12 villages at a time, just so we can get maximum efficiency on our granaries, so we can build 12 farms around it. So that's always nice, except when you can't find space. It's always difficult if you don't have space. And this map in particular, it's difficult to find space. So now we're scrambling to defend. So how do we defend in this situation? We need units. That's pretty much it. We need units, we need walls, and we need keeps. So we're going to be looking to do all 3 of those things. Can't build units without food though. So that's where the farm transition comes in. Yeah. Anyway, all right. So we've talked a little bit about the general bugs, but just a couple of other things. When it comes to caster mode, there's no option to remove score. Like, the score is always on, which is another one of those things that really sucks for story building, right? Like, if you're watching somebody who's fighting and you're like, oh my god, this game is so close, and then you look at the score and you see they're 4,000 points up and you're like, oh, it's not that close. Like, why am I on the edge of my seat? I shouldn't be on the edge of my seat. It's not, I'm not that invested, right? Like, I don't have to be that worried about it. So I don't think that's, you know, it's something that, as I said, I feel like you should care about this as well if you're enjoying my content, because I want to make the best content I can, and I feel like I'm being restricted by the developers. And at the end of the day, that is where my call to action is going to come in at the end of this, or not my call to action, almost a call to arms for members of the community who would like to come on board, and this will be 100% paid. That's important to remember. And then, of course, you guys will be familiar with my next point. Whenever the sacred site is being contested, or whenever all 3 sacred sites are captured, you get a nice, beautiful message on your screen that says that neutralize the sacred site. You know, a new objective, neutralize the sacred site. Even if you've got the cinematic mode, it still shows up for you. And it's one of those things where it's like, it just, you know, I'm in the cinematic mode for a reason. Once again, it all comes down to that immersion and that story building, and that's what a lot of my stuff is built around. And then the next thing on the list is that friend and foe colors don't work. So red and blue are really good when you're playing in 1v1, like this game right here, where I've got friend and foe colors on. It makes it very easy to differentiate if someone has picked orange and another player has picked red, or if someone has picked teal and someone has picked green. I can really easily differentiate between them. But when I'm in caster mode or watching a replay, I can't do that. It doesn't work, because when I flip the players, all of a sudden, now it won't work. And that really, really sucks. All right, we've got a little bit of a push here. Drongo's holding on. Hold it, Drongo. And now that we've talked about like the bugs. Okay, so that's just the bugs. I haven't even talked about the features yet that are missing in caster mode. That's just the bugs. Let's get to the features. This is where it's like, you know, if they announce this stuff, I would be over the moon. I would be like, I would be probably close to in tears, because it just allows me as a creator to expand so much. And the very first thing that I want to mention is something I've been asking for so long, and something that when it genuinely happens, I'm going to be so happy. Chat. I just want to see in-game chat, man. I want to see what players are saying to each other in chat, because it allows you to tell a story. You go look right now at T90. You go look at half of the thumbnails he's got. Almost half of them have got words in them from chat. Chat is the big thing. He said this. What happened after they said this? You know, what happened then? You know, it's all about chat. Chat allows you to tell that story. You know, when players are really fighting on the line and they're getting all emotional, that sort of thing, it's so nice to see. And not just from my perspective, but from a competitive perspective, it's nice to see. You know, you want to know what happened. Why did he resign? Like, what did he think? And chat often does that, and we don't have that. We got a nice little bit of a fight coming in here. Opponents obviously Divine's pushed in. Not really a lot of defense against knights. So of course we're gonna look to try and do it the good old-fashioned way, running in from the side. We got plenty of lances, and I think he's probably doing a little bit of the look. I had Gastro earlier in the week, but I reckon it's his turn to have Gastro right now because he's gonna be shitting himself when he sees those lances coming down the hill. But unfortunately, a couple of my units get distracted at the back here, and I think this is so annoying when it happens, but they're just like caught attacking like just an outpost. There you can see them just attacking an outpost. It's so annoying. Here's Drongo doing macro in fights. When do you want to macro, guys? When you're in fights. That's the most important time to macro. All right, so that's the next thing. No in-game chat. Is so, like, it's such a big feature. If I could have in-game chat added, man, I would be so happy. The next one would be having a neutral perspective for observing. So when I observe a game, I have to watch from a perspective of one of the two players, which means when they get under attack, I get notified. It means when they hit maximum population, I get notified. And I don't want to be notified if you're sitting at 40 out of 40 population. That's not relevant to me as a caster. And it pains me because that message continues to pop up on my screen over and over and over again until I change perspective. And then we go into the bug where it's like, okay, but now because I've changed perspective, I've lost my line of sight from the other side. Anyway, you get the point. So that would be really, really nice to have. Would be a perspective like that. The other thing I'd really love to have would be just a genuinely neutral perspective so typically the way that this works is you can see. So if we look at the minimap right now, I'm gonna hover over the minimap. This is just a recording that we're watching right here. So if we have a look down here in the bottom right hand corner over the minimap, you see how I can see all of this. So basically, as a caster, my map would look identical to this, but Divine would also be lit up, and I could see everything that Divine sees. That, for me, is the perfect mode to be casting from, because it gives you perfect perspective from both players at the same time. And I think that's really, really important to help build that story. Next things, couple of small things. Total resources per minute would be really, really nice. How many times do I have to add up? I mean, every game I'm adding up resources. Feels like 2 or 3 times a game, probably. You know, how much has this guy got? 2, 4, 6k versus 3, 5, 6k. Yep, okay, it's pretty even. And we should just be able to look at a number. It seems pretty simple. There's no way to disable those notifications that I mentioned before. I mean, that's kind of in the same thing. You know, like the maximum population reached, that sort of thing. You can't disable that. You can't disable like sacred site being taken. The destroyed landmark, this one right here on our screen right now, like you can't disable that in caster mode either. So that would be another thing that it's just a bit of an oversight that I mean, I guess you could call a basic feature. I'd love to see kill counts for units. So if you clicked on a unit, it would tell you how many kills it had. If you clicked on a group of units, it would tell you how many kills that group of units had. That would be really nice, especially for things like mangonels, nest of bees, things that are typically really big killers. That would be great. I'd love to see FFA support, especially because we know that we're going to be getting FFA in quick play. I read my emails. I see the amount of comments that I get from people that have said, hey, Drongo, I just played the most insane game. It was an FFA. Go check it out. And it's like, I would love to go and check it out, except for the fact I'm not going to get any of that storyline. There's no story because I don't get to see your chat. And not only that, but even if I was to go and watch it, it's just going to be on the most basic, bare bones replay infrastructure. I'm not going to get anything like what we had at Outback Octagon. I'm not going to get anything like that at all because we've got just the most minimal, bare bone, basic UI that we can possibly have. So for me, that's pretty much it that I could think of when it came to it comes to like caster mode. I also had a whole bunch of other stuff that I wanted to talk about, but it's probably best left for another video because realistically, there's not much length left in this game. I don't know if you guys can tell. Divine's played pretty well. So the account that I'm on... Oh, this is my main account. It has decayed. So it was Conqueror 3, but it's decayed down to Conqueror 1. So for anyone who doesn't know, you will decay, but you don't decay past Conqueror 1, I think that is. Or, yeah, I'm not sure how decay works now, but basically, I remember in the very first season, I decayed from Conqueror down to Diamond. Yeah, it was tough. But in the end, Divine was too strong. He's a pretty good player. I think he's rated about 2,000 points or something like that. So he's a very, very good player. Yeah, in the end, Divine was able to take us down, and now we've got to sit through a 34-second defeat screen, which is always fun. That's actually part of my next point. So you know what? I'm going to mention my next point just quickly here at the end. So don't click off the video just yet, because this is my next gripe. This is something I really, really can't stand. You could see I actually gain 3 points right there, despite losing to Divine. I'm just going to pause it so we don't lose the video. The wait time between games in Age of Empires 4 is just stupidly long. Like, it is so dumb. It is so stupid that you have to wait this long. Like, I played Stormgate, dude. I'm not even kidding you. It was like 15 seconds between losing one game and being in the next game. 15 seconds. Dude, I spend double that amount of time in the lobby for the next game. It's not on, man. It should not take 8 minutes to get into a new game. The queues are too long. Matchmaking games are rarely fair. How many times, like, look at me. I'm a 1,400 point Conqueror 1 player who just matched up against a 2,000 point Conqueror 3 player. There's 600 points between us. And that matched us up really, really quickly. I mean, to be fair, look, I'm a pretty good player. Probably knows my real skills up around Divine, probably a bit higher, but no, I'm just kidding. So, I mean, that's definitely it. Dodging, like, can we even talk about dodging? Like, dodging just should not be a thing. You should not be able to dodge. That's just it, right? Like, the fact that you can dodge is just terrible design in itself. You should not see the name of the player before the game starts. You shouldn't see anything to do with that player before the game starts. That's pretty much it. Like, the entire queuing system just needs to be completely reworked. But the reality is, with Age of Empires 4, what feels like it's currently on live support, I don't think that it is. It just feels like it is. And the reason why I say I don't think it is just because of how successful the last expansion was. I don't think they can be ignoring that. But it just feels like it's on live support. It's just one of those things where it's like, we just got to get used to it, right? Like, I've got friends that are just complaining. I had one who messaged me. He's like, I've been in queue for 18 minutes. I've been dodged 8 times. Nobody wants to play against me. And the only person that's going to play against me is going to be like a person who's gold 3 who doesn't know how to dodge. That's not fun. Yeah, that's not fun, bro. That's not fun. That's not fun for them. It's not fun for you. It's a terrible system and it sucks. But at the end of the day, people care about their points and they'll do anything that they can to keep them. And I don't blame the people. I blame the designers. You don't hate the player. You hate the game. Anyway, I think that's going to be it. Other than that, was there anything else to cover? I don't think so. Pretty much, that's pretty much it. Maybe like add rewinding to replays. That would be nice. Give us more than 8x speed. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. Anyway, g'day fellas. We'll chuck that one in as well for you. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching.